Hello and welcome to the Mr. All In podcast. As always, my name is Jacob Staten, and as always, we are joined by a non-UFO, presently freshly groomed, JJ Armstrong. JJ, you've had your tabs lowered. How are you feeling?
I have. You can't see me tabs because I've got these UFO headphones on, but grand reveal, look at that. He's had a haircut. Unbelievable. I'll turn the brightness back down so you can't see me. Don't talk over me,
When did Brad
Jacob.
Pitt come on, eh?
Yeah, I look like Brad Pitt now. I finally caved in after weeks and weeks of bullying, really, I think you could call it. And I've got my haircut. So for those watching, you're welcome.
More like Brad from that Pit.
Something like that, yeah. But here we are. We're fresh. I feel good.
Yeah.
Feels good not to have hair in front of my eyes. Anyway, you're not here to listen to me talk about my hair, so let's carry on.
Prattle on. Yeah, let's carry on. Before we dive in, JJ, what are you supping back on?
Got a treat for you today.
Go on.
A can
Agua.
of Stella.
Oh, Nelson Mandela. God
Can
bless
of
you.
Stella. That's hard times, that. He's gone for a can, not even from the bottle. Got a can.
Wow.
What
I've
about
got
you?
a Brewdog Lost Planet First Lager. I'm offering Tesco today. Let's have a little ooze in the freezer to get it going.
Lovely.
Oh, crisp that. Delicious.
Crisp.
Crisp. So before we dive 2 feet first into the Fulham match, just a brief mention that obviously the Leeds game was cancelled for obvious reasons. We're going to come back to the fact it was going to be another Monday night kickoff, but yeah. So we're going to then go to Fulham, which was the Friday night, we're recording this on Wednesday the 21st, and that was Friday the 16th. I want to say. So yeah, we started really well in the first half. It was a bit ropey. I don't think we could possibly say we were on top or anything like that. But we score probably a scrappy goal, but a good another goal for Taiwo, which was important. Get to another half time in the lead, and then what happened, JJ?
Well, we capitulated, which is a big word. And a word that, unfortunately, I've used to describe Forest quite a few times. And I thought that word was laid to rest after Stoke under Sabri since Steve Cooper arrived. But alas, it has not. It still is very much here. So, yeah, not really surprised. I think the first half, as you say, you could tell that we're not playing well. We got through it, but I don't think we were playing well. They still felt like if anyone was going to come out the second half and do something, it was them. I think our defence looked really slow and it just wasn't good. Again, another lead thrown away. Was it 3 goals in 5 minutes, was it?
Yeah, 3 and 5 or 6, something like that. I mean, I watched their equaliser. I mean, I've seen a few. They tried to say in the commentary, didn't they, that Mitrovic may have blocked Ryan Yates, I think it was, who would have followed Tosin Adarabioyo. It's not for me. I'm glad that didn't get overruled. That's not a block. That's not a reason to disallow what was a really good header. The second goal, just a wonderful finish, wasn't it? I think, always with those kind of goals, people can say somebody should have gone out and closed him down a bit quicker, etc. I tend to err on the side of it was just a wonderful finish. No chance for Henderson or anything like that. And then the third goal, that's the one that burns me the most because that kind of counter-attacking goal, man over, we're used to seeing Brennan Johnson do that for us. And yeah, that burned me a little bit, the third one, I must admit. But we get a goal back, and I just don't think after we get that goal back, I don't think we look like we didn't up it again. It was almost like we'd equalised and we were holding out for a draw. We didn't step on to them. I don't know how you felt after our second goal went in, JJ.
I didn't. I mean, obviously, I was pleased. We didn't threaten. Like, we didn't threaten to actually do anything with it. Like, say, it felt like we was holding out for a draw. The obvious point here is Lewis O'Brien, the goal scorer, added a lot when he came on. How he wasn't starting, same against Bournemouth. I just don't know. He looks like one of the first names on the team sheet for me. He injected bit of life to us. He made the tackles. He got us moving. He's got a good finish. Can't really complain, but I didn't sit there thinking we're going to pull this back. We'll get at least a point out of this. And I think, he waited a bit too long. Dennis was sitting there on the bench. He brought him on in the 87th minute or something like that, something around that time. And I just feel like he made the right subs in terms of bringing O'Brien on and changing system. But again, I think he could have been a bit swifter with some of his choices.
Yeah, I don't know if Cooper's looked a bit maybe a little bit shell shocked. He's not really been in these kinds of positions with Forest before. He's got a lot of new players who, although it's all well and good saying, because I completely agree, Lewis O'Brien should be starting. But if Remo Freuler, who was a Champions League captain, is fantastic in training and deserves his chance in the game, then it's Cooper's decision to make, and it's his hill to die on, and I'm fine with that. But it's almost like he doesn't quite know his first 11 and doesn't quite know the best thing to change to. And when you consider that we're 6 games in still, it's still we said 7 games in now, and there's 90. Well, I'm reading off here of somebody's comment. We're going to read out later, but 93 points left to play for. So it's one of those things like it's going to come. But I think the sooner he finds his first 11, there's 3 things for me actually. Like, sooner he finds his favoured formation. He did swap back to what we were talking about last time with the 1-2 up top rather than the 3. His favoured formation, his first choice 11, and players like Dennis who can play on the wing. They can play kind of inverted winger on the left hand side. Can play wing on the right hand side. Play up front. That kind of player. Find out where's best to get the most out of them from. Then I think we're gonna have a few more games like this, but I don't think it will go on for long.
I just to jump on the point, you said he looked shell shocked and he's not been in this position with Forest. I don't think he's been in this position with anyone. I don't think many managers out there have been in this position with anyone. It's a very unprecedented situation to be to have most of your team leave and most of the sort of core of the team be loans that have either moved on or gone back to the parent club. Short amount of time from the playoff final to the start of the season. Investing so heavily with so many new additions. I think any manager in the world will struggle to know the best 11. Will struggle to sort of get them to gel. But if there's anyone that I trust to make them gel, it would be Steve Cooper, because we've seen his man management is so strong. I'm not surprised he don't know his best 11. I don't think Forest Twitter or the Forest fan base as a whole knows their best 11, evident by the fact that I put up a graphic up with my starting 11 for the game against Fulham of what I would want it to be. And I had some replies saying, I'd love this to be it. We're going to win. We'll thrash Fulham with this. Other people saying, if we play this team, we're going to get battered. Some people say we need to be 4 at the back. Some people say we need to be 3 in midfield. So, no one knows, because we haven't really seen all that much of them. I think the old players of the Championship are getting the easy stick to poke with, and they're at fault because they've been there longer. And I think the stock's rising higher for the players on the bench purely because they haven't played. It's sort of João Carvalho syndrome. I forget what my initial point was, but I think my point is, in a roundabout way, I'm not surprised he doesn't know his best 11. No one that supports Forest does, and any manager in this position, no matter how good they are, you give them a short amount of time to integrate that many signings, they'll struggle, particularly in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I think I made the point last time as well. I think, we needed that many players. So, the comment of too many signings, I completely disagree, and I have this conversation a lot. We needed that many signings. I think the one for me is the signings after the season started. So you have, again, we could say we still need these extra players, but, you have a group start the season and then you just dropping them on top, and it just, I liked it the couple of seasons ago when they had that one where the transfer window ended before the first game of the season. I completely agree with that. obviously you need every other league to follow suit, don't you, to make it work? But yeah.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of speculation about if there's Cooper signings or if, like, who cares? Who knows? Who knows? Like,
how many we signed 22 players. If all of those are Cooper signings, I'll be extremely surprised if all of those are Cooper signings.
Yeah, it's all speculative. It's what he does. Then it's got to be mature enough. Whether he's said they're his players or not, they are now. So I'm sure he seems like he's not going to freeze people out. He seems to be quite good at man management, as I've said. So I back him.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. I mean, which leads us nicely into kind of a question of like what could be going wrong. And we had a comment from a long time listener, Patrick Gallagher or Gallagher. Apologies either way around. Around kind of tactical nous and why we're repeating basic areas of 5-2-3. And Patrick says he's ashamed to walk away, or does he actually want the sack? And I think I kind of replied to Patrick, and I had three main points really. The issues with it for me are kind of the back three. He doesn't know his best back three, which is something that he absolutely did last season. And although those players could technically be the same, Cook looks a bit shot now for me. Worrell, again, to use the same term, looks shell-shocked. McKenna's, he made one mistake. He's still been phenomenal, hasn't he, for 2.5 seasons? So, Niakate is a shoe-in into that middle slot, and I'd love to. I can't wait to see Bardet play. Willy Barley looks like a decent option, but I don't think he's a long-term solution. So I won't be surprised if it's the same one that started the season of Worrell, Niakate and McKenna, maybe with Bardet coming in somewhere. But yeah, I think the first point and the first issue is knowing that strongest back three and sticking with it, because that's a key point. That back three needs to play together a lot, to understand it's a cutthroat league, this one. You need to be together. The next point was right wing back. I think Nico Williams is brilliant, but he's not the same player as Jed Spence. He's fantastic in his own way. He gets to kind of almost kind of right centre midfielder type position, and his balls in are amazing and that kind of thing. But I think the fact he doesn't bomb on, he doesn't link up, well with Johnson, but at all with Brennan Johnson. I think it's part of the reason why Brennan Johnson looks a little bit. I was going to say out of his depth, but I don't think that's right, because
he looks lost.
He looks lost. That's a fantastic way. It looks lost, absolutely. And I think the team as a whole looks a little bit unbalanced. Like last season where it was kind of Spence bombing on and Colback obviously filling it left back wouldn't bomb on as much. So there was a nice asymmetric balance there. We don't have that at the minute because they both seem to be sitting back quite a lot. And then the third point, if I can remember, was around the centre midfielders. So obviously we only played 2 centre midfielders, and in the Championship, I think with Garner and Yates, we had the two of the best, two of the absolute best in that league, central midfield. And I think to make this a midfield 2 and only 2 work in the Premier League, you have got to have high quality. And this is not a detriment to anyone we've got who can play that position, but to only have 2, I don't think we have that level of quality.
I think Mangala and O'Brien, to me, seem 2 that could be that quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've looked very good themselves when they've both played. And again, this isn't a detriment to Ryan Yates. He's proved us wrong. He is a good player. He's not a starter for me, but that's not me saying he's not a good player. He's a good squad player. Yeah. He's a good addition. In a 2, he doesn't start for me.
Anything wrong. I wouldn't say he's done anything bad or wrong. I just don't think he's not influencing games as he did last season.
Yeah.
Anyone who's listened to old episodes of this podcast, we were not Ryan Yates fans, and he has completely and utterly turns us around. I always say, I want anyone who pulls that Garibaldi red shirt on to be the next Stuart Pearce, but he really has turned me around, and I'm a true Yates believer, but he's just not. He's not quite getting us box to box, and understandably, he's got a world step up of player to mark, hasn't he now? So it's understandable, but I'd like to see him trust himself a bit. I thought that he would be the one that would make the step up really, really well and easily. I thought he'd continue to be box to box and kind of throw teams off because they're not used to seeing that kind of classic midfielder. But yeah, maybe just needs to believe in himself a bit more.
We might still see it. His work. We keep hearing about his work ethic, and apparently doing however many mile runs before breakfast and all this stuff. So he's hungry for it. That's exactly the type of commitment you want to see from a player, to be hungry, to be caring about putting the shirt on. So we still might see it. And you know what? I hope we do, because I'd love to see Ryan Yates play that role. But as it stands, I just don't think he's a starter.
Yeah. And I don't quite think it's inevitable, but I think a move to a kind of a 4-2-3-1 is going to be possibly potentially on the cards. I personally think that Lodi and Williams would really, really flourish in a back four. The way they both play, you know. I think they're both not necessarily lost, but kind of a little confused, kind of subtly confused as to getting forward and getting back, that kind of thing. In a way that Jed Spence and Max Lowe and I suppose Jack Colback in a way weren't. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a move to at least a flat back four wasn't on the cards, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lodi and Williams really, really flourished with that.
Yep.
So we put a little tweet out asking for comments from you guys. We've had a few come through, haven't we? Really. So that Garibaldi nerd, so at that Brit nerd, says reasons to be cheerful, and I like this. Reasons to be cheerful. So remember where we were this time last year. I think we just appointed Steve Cooper this time last year.
I think it was 1 year either today or yesterday that Cooper arrived, which is mind blowing.
Mind-boggling, absolutely, yeah. Mangala and Niakate should be back soon. Tick, unreal. And when you scored a proper goal, yeah. I mean, it was another tap-in, wasn't it? But you got to be there to score them. There's still 31 games and 93 points to go, which, yeah, I mean, that's enough to change anyone's point of view, isn't it? O'Brien continues to look immense. That he does. And Leicester look in worse shape than we do. That they do, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they do. So thank you very much for that. Big Z at NFFC under 13. I'd love to hear something about levels of expectation. Any Forest fan under 40 has never seen the team win anything. Those over 50 have seen them lift European Cups. So what does the modern Forest fan expect of this team, manager and ownership? What are they happy with? I think this is a really, really good question. And for me personally, I may joke about this, but I getting more than 11 points this season is a win. You know, Kevin Keegan, I would love it if we didn't go down. I'd love it if we stayed up, obviously. But getting more than that 11 points is the only goal for us. This was not meant to happen. You know, we went from bottom of the league with 1 point to solid in the playoffs and winning the playoff final comfortably. This is not the world we're meant to be in right now. So I think anything more than 11 points is a win. What about you, JJ?
Well, I think for me, over the years supporting Forest, my main thing that I wanted to see was I just want us to get to the playoffs. And then I just want to see us win a semi-final. I just want to see us play at Wembley, and then we win at Wembley. I just want to see us win at Wembley. We did it sort of 2-in-1 there. And as I keep saying to my friends before, I just one day would like to see Forest play in the Premier League. So for me, mission accomplished. If we go down this season, last season was some of my best memories for supporting Forest. Unbelievable. I think unless we somehow kick on and win the Champions League again or win the league even, I don't think it will get better than the Wembley playoff final and the memories of last season. So expectation-wise for me, for this season, it's 17th will do. Yeah. I think it looks like it's slightly cobbled together, but it looks like we're building a squad for Europe. So my expectation and long-term view is 17th will do. If we can, over a few years, sort of get ourselves into the top 10, that would be amazing. If we can go a few steps further and get us into Europe, fine. That's over years. My expectations now is just to enjoy supporting Forest, which last season and to lesser degree this season, I haven't enjoyed watching Forest this much in a long time. So really, my expectations are quite low this season. We could go down we retain Cooper, that's enough for me in terms of expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you talk about ownership expectations, that's what I would expect for him to retain the services of Steve Cooper, no matter what happens.
Yeah. Because I know people have said, they spent a lot of money, and they absolutely have. We spent about the fourth or fifth most in Europe this summer, but that was all free money. That was all money that's come in. That's not, he's not sticking his hand in his pocket per se. And obviously he is, it's his money, but that's money that the club has earned from getting promotion. So, and I think you made a good point earlier when we were talking about this, saying that, if we did go down, I don't think it'd be another 23 years.
Yeah. That's essentially it for me. It's been an agonizing 23-year wait. If we did go down, it wouldn't be the same. And I know you can talk about expectation and spending a load of money and we should be here, there, everywhere, whatever. This might be a stupid analogy, but I could wake up tomorrow morning and spend £10,000 on lottery tickets. That don't give me the right to win it. It's not automatically just because I spent a lot of cash. So it might be a long roundabout way of saying it. Jacob, I think you might have frozen. Don't know if you're still with me.
No, wait a minute. I'm here.
All right, you're just very stoic. Might be a long-winded way of saying it, but just because Marinakis has spent that much money doesn't give him the sort of automatic right to get anywhere in this league or win the league or get to Europe or whatever. Like, sure, if it happens, fantastic, and the money would have helped, but let's not be so arrogant.
Yeah, silly. Which leads us into David Jones's reply and question, and long-time listener, so thank you very much, Jonesy, dear boy. I'm determined to enjoy this year, whatever. We've waited a long time to go up, and it only happened because we caught lightning in a bottle last year. If we went down, who would still be in the squad, and how confident will we be of we coming back up? That's a great question. Absolutely right about catching lightning in a bottle, as kind of we alluded to. We're not meant to be here. Looking at the team, Henderson obviously wouldn't come. John Smith, backup goalie probably to Wayne Hennessy. I wouldn't mind Hennessy in goal and net. Bian Con, I imagine, would stay. Steve Cook stay. Joe Worrell probably stay. And Basso stay. Neko Williams. I'm going to say stay. We spent a lot of money. We take a lot of money to kind of prize him off. Harry Toffolo stay. Near Carte, I imagine, will be gone. Serge Aurier, completely forgot we had Serge Aurier. I imagine would be gone if we went down. Scott McKenna, I'd like to think we'd be able to keep him. Maybe hot property to sell. Omar Richards, I'd like to just see him play for us. Loic Bardet, again, like to see him play for us. Willy Bolly, I imagine, would stay. Brennan Lodi would not stay. Mangala would be gone. Colback, probably stay. Morgan Gibbs-White, hopefully stay. Jesse Lingard, definitely gone. Lewis O'Brien, I mean, if we could keep him. Cafu, not in the squad, so kind of irrelevant. Cheku Kouate, probably stay. Ryan Yates, definitely stay. Remo Freuler, probably not. Owunyi, probably not. Sam Surridge would probably be first choice striker there, wouldn't he? With Brennan Johnson, if we could possibly keep him. Manuel Dennis would be gone, and Lyle Taylor again not in the squad. So look at that. It sounds like it could possibly be another partial rebuild, even if we did go down.
Well, the difference is all these players are ours. We've not got X amount of loans anymore. We've got Panzo out on loan. We've got Martin out on loan. They're going to be stronger for it. We've got Josh Bowler ready to come in from Olympiacos.
Yeah. Bang Joe,
sure,
as well.
I don't think we'll ever see him in a Forest shirt, but sure, we've got him as well. Right. But I just think if we went down, we'd be in a strong position in the Championship. If we went down with that squad under Cooper, we'd be in an even stronger position. So that's why I think it won't be 23 years. And we've got resale value on players. We can make some money back. We can retain a decent squad. I just think we'd give it a good go. I think it would only be a few years, if not straight back up. You never know, obviously, but I certainly don't think it's 23 years. But to the point of enjoying the season no matter what, that's me 100%. Sure, I'm gonna get frustrated and not enjoy it a lot of the time, but overall, just sort of happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and say that I know we've spoken, mentioned the R word a lot. I still don't think we'll get relegated. But
all right, I wondered where that was going then.
Let's move on. Let's move on to previewing Leicester. JJ, talk to me.
Yes, Leicester. When is that? I've lost track of time now. This silly
It is
international
Monday,
break after.
I'm just looking up here. Monday, 3rd of October.
3rd of October. Well, Leicester are in a bit of trouble at the minute. They're not playing too great.
Just a little bit, yeah.
So are we. We're not playing too great. Time for Rodgers to have with this squad on the training ground. Time for Cooper to have with the squad on the training ground. So it's going to be finely balanced. I am going to remain optimistic and hope that Forest can possibly get a 2-0 win here. I don't think it's going to be easy again. People will look at the sort of Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham games and think 9 points easily. Not going to happen in this league. Still going to be difficult. But we're playing them at a time where they're on the ropes. I think one more loss against Forest is the end for Rodgers, potentially. So, who knows?
I don't think so. Not my opinion.
Fair enough.
I think he's in this situation because of the club's owners. I don't think they'll be sacking him, paying him off. I think I think there's a bit of a mutual thing of let's give it a go this season. I think.
Fair.
None of this is his fault.
I agree. But
they've sold all these players, haven't they? So
I agree. But football is a weird thing where he's gone into the international break after not backing him. It would be a good time to sack him if they were to get rid of him. Then he loses the first game back, then they get rid of him. So that sort of thing. I won't be surprised to just because of how daft some owners are. But Leicester, although they didn't back him, the Leicester owners seem to have the head screwed on a little bit. Weird to see Leicester in that position, but be an interesting
it's quite
game.
out of nowhere as well, hasn't it? Their whole unwillingness to play in the market, isn't it, as well? So
I'm sure I'm sure I saw something say that their businesses had lost quite a lot of money. I don't know if that's a COVID thing and that's why they can't back them, but something like that.
Fair enough. Cool. I think it's I'd be much happier if it was at home. In fact, would I? We keep losing after going up at half time. It could be good game to play away. Probably come at the right time. We need to bounce back, and who better to do against than the worst team, a bit of a rival as well. So, I think it's an important game to get right. I think I think anyone would take a draw right now, get another point on the board. But I think it's a very important game for the club to get right
for both managers. And a question, please answer down below: is Leicester and Forest a rivalry? Because I don't think it is. I couldn't care less about Leicester. I think you feel a bit stronger about that, but they're not a rival. They were a rival when we beat them 4-1 in the cup, but not really.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're a rival, but I don't agree with those who just completely dismiss it. It's not Derby, but it's not like we're playing Aston Villa. Look at that segue! Look, there we go into the following Monday's game against Aston Villa. JJ.
He's not happy about it being a Monday, is he? I don't know if you could tell.
Sunday's one thing that I've managed to swallow over the years of watching football, but with that, if the Leeds game had gone ahead, this would be our third game on a Monday in less than 1 month. We would have had 3 games on a Monday night. Tell me that's not ridiculous.
I couldn't. I'd be a fool to try, Jacob.
A fool.
We're playing Villa. It's not Derby because you know what? They're not in the Premier League. They're deep down in League One and they're not doing great. Whoops. Villa again. They're sort of picking up a few points here and there. I don't think Gerrard's much good. I think he saved himself. I mean, they somehow got a point against City. They played quite well in that game, but all in all, I don't think they're great. They've got a good squad, so they're capable of doing damage. I don't think they're being utilised properly. So I guess quite similar to Leicester. Tough game. Is that at home? Away? It's at home, isn't it?
Away. The Villa game's at home, yeah. Sorry, at home.
At home. Sorry, I'm looking at the wall chart up there, which you can get at missrollingin.co.uk.
Zing.
Yeah, another difficult game, which I think will be my sort of prediction for every Premier League game, but I'm quite confident here of another win, especially at home. I think the fans have sort of had a bit of infighting recently about the lack of atmosphere, Bournemouth and Fulham are a bit more boring tin pot teams. Villa are a bit closer to home, a bit more of a Premier League side. So the atmosphere should be a bit better. And I think the players will be wanting to give a good home performance after the sort of capitulation of Bournemouth and Fulham. So talked for a lot there, but I think two 2-0 wins out of Leicester and Villa. I'll take 6 points, definitely. I'll definitely take 4 points. Definitely take 3 points. I'll definitely take 2 points. And I'll just about stomach 1 point.
I think I'm going to be Captain Optimistic and say 4 points. I don't know I don't know where the dubby comes, but
that's not optimistic.
That's 4 points, isn't optimistic.
If you're optimistic, you'd go 6.
No.
Okay.
Optimistic and say 4.
Okay.
Cool.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll take it for sure. Cool. Well, that's it for this episode of the Miss Rolling In podcast. If you're listening for the first time, thank you for joining us. And if you've come back again, God, we love you. You Reds.